The agent stops when the work looks done, which means a confident, wrong answer looks exactly like a right one, until you've read the diff. Welcome to the Atlas. You've watched the agent edit your files. This episode is about the one choice behind every one of those edits: how hard you lock the door before it runs. You gave the agent a task and let it run. It moved fast, produced a confident, plausible change, and solved the wrong problem. You found out only after the diff landed and you'd read 3 files. The cost wasn't the bug. It's that you became the verification loop after the fact. Here's the frame for the whole episode. When the agent wants to edit a file, run a command, or hit the network, it pauses and asks. A permission mode controls how often that pause happens. More oversight for sensitive work, fewer interruptions when you trust the direction. It's one dial, and plan mode and direct execution are just 2 positions on it. The agent stops when the work looks done. Direct execution makes you the check after the work. The other direction on the dial moves that check before the work. That's plan mode. So the real question isn't, is plan mode good? It's, for this task, how hard should you lock the door? Meet the cautious end of the dial. In plan mode, the agent can read every file and run commands to explore your code base, but it will not touch your source. It researches, then it hands you a plan and waits. Plan mode tells the agent to research and propose changes without making them. It reads files, runs shell commands to explore, and writes a plan, but it does not edit your source. And read only does not mean no tools. It can still run commands to understand the code, it just can't change it. 3 ways in. Press Shift-Tab to cycle into it. Prefix a single prompt with /plan, or start the session in plan mode from the command line. Shift-Tab again leaves plan mode without approving anything, and you can make it the default for a whole project in your settings. This is the most locked working mode short of just looking. The agent does real research. It isn't frozen, but every edit is held back until you say go, which means plan mode always ends the same way, with a plan on the table and a decision in your hands. Now the open end, and here's the catch most people miss: direct execution isn't one setting. It's a ladder of looser and looser modes, each letting the agent do more without asking. Climb the ladder. Default mode reviews each action as it comes, read only without asking, but it pauses before every edit. Accept edits auto approves file edits and common file system commands, so you review the diff after, not each change. Auto mode lets the agent run without prompts, but a separate classifier checks each action first and blocks anything risky, and it's a research preview. Don't ask denies anything you haven't pre-approved. Fully non-interactive, built for pipelines. And bypass permission skips all checks entirely. Only ever use it in an isolated container or virtual machine, never on your real machine. So going direct is really a choice of how much oversight you keep. Default keeps the most, bypass keeps none. Plan mode sits below all of them, the only mode that won't edit your source at all. And one guardrail rides the whole ladder. In every mode except bypass, writes to protected paths, your Git folder, your config, are never auto-approved. Here's the move that trips people. When the agent finishes planning, it doesn't just keep going. It presents the plan and asks how you want to proceed, and your answer changes what mode you're in. 2 tools bracket the whole thing. The Enter Plan Mode tool switches you in to design an approach before coding. No permission needed, because entering a safer mode is free. The Exit Plan Mode tool presents the plan for approval and exits, and that one requires permission, because exiting plan mode is the exact moment edits become allowed. When the plan is ready, you get 5 choices. Approve and start in auto. Approve and accept edits. Approve and review each edit yourself. Keep planning with feedback. Or refine it in a browser review. And before any of that, Control-G opens the plan in your editor so you can change it directly. Now, burn this in. Approving a plan does not just unpause plan mode. It exits plan mode and switches your session to the mode you chose. Pick start in auto, and you're now in auto mode. The agent edits without prompts. The plan was the gate. Approving it opens a different door. Plan mode isn't a button you press once. The recommended way to use it is a 4-phase loop, and it exists for one reason: to separate research from execution, so the agent doesn't solve the wrong problem. Phase 1, explore. In plan mode, the agent reads files and answers questions without making changes. Read the auth folder. Understand how sessions and login work. Phase 2 plan. You ask it for a detailed implementation plan. I want to add Google Sign in. What files change? What's the flow? Create a plan. Phase 3, implement. You switch out of plan mode and let it code, checking the work against its own plan, writing tests, and running them. Phase 4, commit. It writes the message and opens the pull request. The first 2 phases happen behind the locked door. The change only starts once you've seen the plan and opened it. That's the whole point. When the agent plans first, you catch the wrong approach while it's still words on a page, not after it's 3 files of code you have to unwind. And give the agent a check it can run, a test, a build, a screenshot, and the implement phase closes its own loop. Now lay them out together. One axis, oversight on the left, speed on the right. Every mode is a single position on it, and seeing them lined up is what makes the choice obvious. Read it left to right. Plan is the only mode that won't edit your source at all. Pure decide first. Default reviews each action. Accept edits lets the agent iterate while you review the diff after. Auto hands oversight to a classifier so long runs don't stall on prompts. Don't ask locks the surface down to exactly what you pre-approved for pipelines. Bypass turns oversight off, sandboxes only. Same dial, 6 positions, 1 trade-off, every step right by speed by spending oversight. And notice the trap hiding in plain sight. Plan and default both read only without asking. They look like twins on this dial. They are not, and the difference is the next scene. There's no best position. The best one fits the task in front of you. The dial isn't just an interactive thing. When you drive the agent from code in a script, a pipeline, an SDK, the same modes are options you set, and one of them is plan. You can set plan once when the query starts, or change it mid-session. And the documented pattern is exactly the workflow you just saw. Start restrictive, then loosen permissions as trust builds, like switching to accept edits after you've reviewed the first approach. The plan flag also works headlessly, so a script can generate a plan with no human at the keyboard. One sharp warning for the architect. When a parent session runs in a looser mode, bypass, accept edits, or auto, every subagent inherits that mode, and it can't be overridden per subagent. So a careless loose default doesn't just risk your session. It silently grants the same freedom to every agent you spawn. 4 mistakes. Each looks right until you hit the edge that breaks it, and each one is the boundary of something you already learned. This is what the certification tests, not the names, the edges. Mistake 1, thinking plan mode means no tools. It's read only, but the agent still runs shell commands to explore. Read only blocks edits, not exploration. Mistake 2, thinking default mode is basically plan mode because both are read only. They aren't. Plan won't touch your source and ends with a plan you approve. Default will edit, it just asks first. Mistake 3, thinking approving a plan just unpauses it. It doesn't. Approving exits plan mode and drops you into the mode you chose. Pick start in auto, and the agent now edits with no prompts. Mistake 4, the twin overconfidence. Planning everything to be safe, which wastes you on a one-line fix. Or reaching for bypass to go fast, which is the opposite of plan, no checks, no protection against a bad instruction, sandboxes only. Every one of these is the edge of a feature, not a new fact. The gap between the name and the edge is the exam. So, plan or direct? Here's the verdict, and it isn't a winner. It's a rule straight from the documentation, and it's the one thing to take into the exam and into your editor. Plan mode is useful, but it adds overhead. It isn't free. Plan first when you're uncertain about the approach, when the change touches multiple files, or when you're unfamiliar with the code. Go direct when the scope is clear and the fix is small, a typo, a logline, a renamed variable. And the test that settles every borderline case, if you could describe the diff in one sentence, skip the plan. That's the reframe. Plan and direct were never rivals. They're the two ends of one dial. And the answer is never which is better. It's which fits this task. You read the task. You set the dial. 5 things to carry with you. 1, it's one dial, 6 modes from oversight to speed. 2, plan mode is read only. It still explores, but it won't edit your source. 3, approving a plan exits plan mode into the mode you choose. It doesn't just unpause. 4, the workflow is explore, Plan, implement, commit, research before execution. 5. Plan when you're unsure or the change is big. If you could describe the diff in one sentence, skip it. How hard you lock the door is yours to choose, task by task. Thank you for watching the Atlas. If this episode helped, subscribe. There are more in this series on the way. Next up, permission rules. Allow, ask, and deny. You can pick how hard to lock the door next. The rules that decide what gets through it, even when it's open.